Hi there. My name is Scott Marker, and this is the Treasure Valley NIA QuickTips. And what it is I'm the franchise owner of a franchise network in action, which is down in Texas, Houston, Texas. And from there, I meet a lot of high caliber local business professionals, and it kind of had me come up with this podcast so I could bring local here in the Treasure Valley, Idaho, local expertise on, and hopefully help out some of the people here. So today we have on Kory. So Kory, introduce yourself.
Hey Scott, how are you? Great. Yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm a local real estate professional, I like to call myself, but we operate a small real estate team here in the Treasure Valley. So we help people buy and sell and invest in real estate here locally in Idaho. Cool.
Well, I'm a third generation Idahoan. I'll tell you, every time I think
there's not many of them.
Every time I think it can't get crazier growth, it's like, wow. So like the last couple of years, like what's happened with the housing market here?
Yeah, well, I think no one's surprised by the fact that people want to move to Idaho. I think it was a well-kept secret for a long time, as you probably know, being an Idahoan, but it's a beautiful place. And in the last couple of years, just with the pandemic and everything, people have wanted to get a little bit more space. I think just the opportunity that's out there with working remotely has led to really just a boom out here. I mean, we had people moving here already, but kind of post-pandemic, it's just kind of opened the floodgates. And really, I think it all comes down to the fact that more and more people are able to really do their job and do their profession and career in a more flexible way. And this leads well for a place like Idaho, where it's close to the entire West Coast, but you just hop on a plane in an hour or two, you can get to anywhere you need to be. So.
Well, yeah, that's what my next question I was going to ask you is like, what's attracting people here, but it's like, holy. So what for you, California is like the easy one, right? I mean,
sure.
Well, because we know they're coming here a lot. I'm not one of those anti-California people. I'm like, hey, this is America. If Idaho turns into be not a good place, hey, move somewhere else, So I appreciate people coming here. Hey, it creates jobs and business and growth. I mean, along with it comes growth. But so California, we know, is that like for you, is that the biggest customer base coming in here?
Yeah, we do, as many know, we have a lot of people moving here from, California. We get some like Portland, Seattle, different areas through there. But a lot of people are moving to the area who may be selling in a location that's a more expensive city. So they're able to sell their house for significantly higher prices than what houses cost here in Idaho. So that's kind of been what's driving the prices here up. And like you said, looking at the housing market after living here for all these years, it's pretty incredible of a run that it's had the last few years, for sure.
I know it doesn't seem to be quitting. I mean, geez, I've heard for several years, people go, it's a bubble here. It's a bubble here. Well, guess what? They just announced that, Meta's building a big data center over in China.
I saw that
huge thing. It's not going to slow down for, maybe it will, but not for the foreseeable future, because like you said, that's been 3 years ago. I heard people saying, oh, it's a bubble. It's never the houses are going to come crashing down and on and on and on. Right. Guess what?
Yeah.
My house has gone up year after year.
Yeah.
It's worth a ton of money.
Yeah. I think it's hard to really know what's going to happen. And anyone that thinks or says that they do know what's going to happen is either lying or just guessing. So, but I mean, the one thing about Idaho is there are a lot of companies moving here. You may know this, but I think it was just rated like the most business friendly state, or one of the most business friendly states for entrepreneurs and small businesses. So we get a lot of creative people who
Oh.
are starting businesses here, small businesses. And then there's always been that good kind of foundation of like the HPs, the Albertsons, the Microns, the
Yeah.
Intuits, of kind of the bigger, like nationally stock market traded companies that have been here for many years too. So there's good fundamentals here in the Treasure Valley for sure.
Oh, there is. So on to the like, so you work with you work with home buyers, home sellers. So what like, so selling a homes, is there anything new about selling a home right now?
So one thing, just with the way the market is, I think it's as important as ever is to price your home well, and then also present it well. There's so many people out there looking to purchase right now, that if you can do those things right, it's really going to help you get the most for your home. So we really work hard and prepping homes to get them looking as best as they possibly can, whether that be like photographers, they have crazy technology these days with the 3D tours.
Yeah.
And those even really expanded with COVID and everything, so people could look at houses, get a good feel for what they're buying, either when they don't live here or if they aren't able to leave their house, different things like that. So we just want to present the house really, really well, price it right. We partner with some local like interior designers and staging companies that get that house ready for market. And there's so many people just waiting, chomping at the bit to look at those nice houses here in the Treasure Valley, that they tend to go really fast, but the sellers are the ones benefiting. Like we're joking before we hopped on here that someone sent you a picture of a bag of money saying, do you sell your house? You'll get a ton of money. So little things like that. But yeah, sellers, if you're able to sell, or especially sell, and if you're able to downsize or something like that, you can really, put a little money in your pocket and get something else that works better for you anyway. So
yeah, I for the most part I see pretty good, look on Facebook, you scroll down, I'm not looking to buy or sell my house, but you're always, it's always nice to look, but you really notice when people have taken the time, like you mentioned, and actually their house, I mean, looks really good. It doesn't look like my house right now.
Yeah.
It looks
most
really,
of our houses.
Really clean. And just like, wow, that's a nice house. I mean, it would make me come look at it. If I was looking for a house, they really look good. And selling a house right now is I think, anyway. Now, so what's new buying a house?
Yeah. So, I mean, the biggest thing right now is the competition. So when you're if you're looking to purchase a house, you really have to be prepared to put your best foot forward. So it's almost,
should you be fine? Should you know how much you can spend first?
Yeah. It's always good to know how much you can spend and then go a little under that, because it's so prominent right now with houses going over asking price. As long as they're priced well, you're going to have multiple offers. So at the same time, we set those expectations with the buyers right up front, like, hey, it's a little bit of a battle out there to get a house. And, here are, 3 or 4 things that you can do to really make your offer stand out. And we just want to make it as clean as possible, get them up and running. And we actually partner a lot with a guy in your NIA, Tom Kirkmeyer, where he has the process down so he can close in 2 to 3 weeks, and that makes a big difference. So little things like that, where it doesn't cost the buyer any more money to close fast. It's just if you get everything organized and have a good lender that can close quickly, it helps you stand out from those other buyers that are closing in 30, 40 days. So that's one way it doesn't cost the buyer a single thing that we like to do. So
yeah, as I say, I think the expectations, you're exactly right, because, and we've talked about this before, is nothing you want to do more than don't set the expectations right. And there's going to be multiple buyers, and guess what? You might not get this house.
Yeah.
Right. You might have to make multiple. Your dream house might not be this house.
Yeah.
It might be the next house.
Yeah.
And so I love that, because like it's true, because I'd be now it's kind of so common, I more understand it, but still, as a home buyer, setting the expectations up that, you know, we're excited for her. We do everything we can to get it, you know, set up so that it gives you the best chance. But if someone really wants that house and they have a slug of money that, you know, can make a huge offer, you know, maybe you got to move on to the next house. So
yeah, and sometimes, you know, you can put your best foot forward and still not get the place, like you're saying.
Yeah.
And, you know, sometimes there's nothing you can do about it. If someone has more money to burn or more cash ready to go, you know, it's hard. It's not every situation that you're going to win. There's going to be other people at times that just have more money to pay for a house, and they're okay maybe overpaying a little bit because their situation is different than yours. And I think just kind of knowing that up front makes, when you don't get a house, a little easier, knowing that, you know, you're not overpaying, you can go find something else. So
and then again, then getting set up correctly, like you're talking about, then you're ready to go on your next house, you know, if there's something else comes up. But then then the next thing you said, you kind of 3 big buckets where, you know, buying a home, selling a home, and then investing. What that's the one thing I'm kind of fascinated with, but how do you help investors?
Yeah, so I mean, the market's changed a lot just over the last couple of years. It used to be a pretty common investment for people to get a house, a single family house, and rent it out, and that renter would pay the mortgage. Maybe they'd make a little bit of money every month, but not a ton. And you just hold it and as long as you wanted, and you could, you know, cash flow and also get a little appreciation. And it's getting harder and harder for investors to find something that cash flows, and that just comes with the prices going up so much. And I'm sure you and some of the listeners have realized this rent's going up like crazy here in the Treasure Valley. So a lot of investors are kind of turning to more of the short-term rental aspect of investing out here. I think last year I had three clients who bought properties specifically to make them into like Airbnbs or short-term rentals.
Oh, wow.
That's just another way that investors can actually cash flow every month. Because a lot of the times with the prices going up, if someone just buys a house and puts a renter in there, you're losing money every month. And most investors, they don't feel like losing money every month, you know, by buying a house. So that's kind of one way that's kind of pivoting a little bit and changing in the market, just so those investors can still buy a good asset like a house, which is, you know, important. We didn't really get into it, but just the way the world is with inflation and things like that, a hard asset's a pretty safe bet. And it's a way for them to get that asset and also cash flow at the same time. So it's kind of always changing, but right now we see that a lot.
Yeah, as you say, because it used to be you get a real, here in Idaho, you get a real inexpensive, like little 1-bedroom house or couple bedroom house, and now those are becoming less and less. So I hadn't thought about it. You're right, do more of kind of a short-term rental thing, Airbnb, because, you know, people are going to pay more of a premium, but for a short amount of time. But yeah, so that does make sense for an investor to do it that way. Then
and it's not easy. I mean, there's kind of some work involved. That's why a lot of people don't like it. But
I've heard of people going in together and buying like a fourplex or something, and you know, doing it that way. But like I said, it's just, anyway, that's interesting. Like I said, because again, you're right, the rental prices have significantly have gone up here. So so another question that I had for you was, and we again talked about this before a little bit, but like first time home buyers, right? Like somebody come out of college here or something like that. Are there, what type of programs are there? I mean, I mean, because I know you told me you mainly deal with people that are selling their homes and, you know, buying another home, but what is there? Kind of give me some insights on like new home buyers. What was there anything, any help for them?
Yeah, so there's a lot of loan programs, and Idaho's pretty good at that, at just providing some options for first-time home buyers, people who, there's the Idaho housing, which is a really low down payment type of loan. There's FHA loans, which aren't too bad, like 3.5%. And then there's even the rural housing or rural development loans that they're specific on what neighborhoods and what cities you're able to purchase in. So the bigger cities, like Meridian, Boise, those don't qualify, but some of the outskirts of the Treasure Valley,
Okay.
they do. It's based on population, and you can actually get those for zero down, because you're kind of helping build up the area. So there's a lot of options out there for buyers with not a big down payment, as long as you can afford the monthly payments. And then we were kind of talking offline that Idaho just passed a tax, and I don't quote me on it, but like a tax free way for first time home buyers to kind of put away money. So they're able to save money for their down payment and then write that off during their taxes. So it's kind of a way to have some tax-free money that's going towards a future purchase of a house, which is pretty cool. And a guy within your organization, Isaac Chavez, who we both know and love, he worked hard for that when he was kind of part of the organizations and the representations of realtors to get that as a program. And it's a really cool program for people that are looking to save some money and get into that first house, because once you're able to purchase a house, it's kind of a game changer for people, because it does a good job that you're able to pay down your mortgage and build up some equity over the course of your life. It's a nice way to kind of set you up for your future for sure. So and then I'll just add on that, another kind of thing that I work with a lot of clients on is something we like to call house hacking. I don't know, have you ever heard that term before, Scott?
Never heard it. Nope.
All right. So house hacking, I'm kind of passionate about. It's pretty cool, but it's where you buy a house and then you rent part of it out to basically cover your mortgage. So it's perfect for people that aren't like married. Like I just sold a house to a guy who just graduated college. He's a professional. He bought a house in Garden City here, 3-bedroom house, rent out 2 of the rooms. So those 2 roommates are paying for most of his mortgage every month. Wow. And then he's able to get in a house. He's able to get the equity, and pay a reduced rent than if he was out renting on his own. And it's just like a great way for a first time home buyer to get in, especially because all those loan programs we just talked about. So if he's able to get into a house, for this gentleman, it was like 3.5% down. Is he able to get into a house 3.5% down, which, on a $400,000 house, it's Siri is listening to me here. Hold on. Right, there we go. So on a $400,000 house, you're looking under 15 grand, and you're able to get a house and have other people pay your mortgage. And a lot of people do the house hacking technique too, with like duplexes or a fourplex.
I've heard about it before, about buying like a fourplex and you being a landlord, but I had never heard the term the house hacking. But that's an excellent way for somebody to get their first house and be able to afford it.
Yeah. And a lot of people will do it over and over again, because there's no, like, you can get a low down payment loan. It doesn't matter if you make 6 figures, you can still get a loan for a low down payment. And so they'll move around like every year or two. So they'll buy a house and then live in it a couple of years, and then they're able to go get another loan with a low down payment over and over again, and then keep the other ones as a rental. So it's a good way to kind of set yourself up, especially if you're like single and, you don't have a family. Sometimes your wife might not want to live with other roommates or something. But
that's true, but that's good.
Start young. It's a good way.
Yeah. Here's my last question for you is there, I don't know, because every time I talk to someone like you, the number goes up, but how many realtors are there in Idaho?
So last I heard, it was like just under 10,000.
Yeah.
In the whole state. So, and I should look up what it is in the county, but like this last month, they sent out the stats, and there was, I think, like 350 listings in Ada County. So, I mean, it's all, whatever it is, 7,000 realtors here in the Treasure Valley competing for the 350 listings to sell. So that's really why it's not as an easy of a profession as a lot of people want to make it out to be. But
no, I know. And that's why, with you, you've heard lots of good things about you and yourself, but you have a team too. So what like sets you guys, again, because I won't get into it, but years, 25 years ago. First house, sold it. Now I was in there after it, but I sold it and then moved here. And
Yeah.
I didn't know any difference between a realtor, and my neighbor's niece had just become a realtor. So I won't get into it, but it was a terrible experience because every home I looked at was selling and nobody even looked at my house. She overpriced it like so much. She didn't know what she was doing. I mean, I didn't see it, but she was a newbie. So I know personally there is a difference because I got another one that really did a good job. So like, what do you guys do different to kind of set yourself apart?
Yeah. That's a good question. I think for us, I mean, it all comes down to kind of like the integrity we have. I think that's kind of the first and foremost is that, like, I only invite people onto my team who are like top-notch individuals, not just at real estate related things, but just as like people. Like we want to associate with people that are super ethical, just have integrity, really treat our clients like second to none. So I think that's first and foremost. And then the second aspect of that, more real estate related, is just how we tend to specialize in different things. So we have, an individual that specializes working with investors. We have another buyer specialist who, knows the market for buyers, knows how to get offers accepted. And then I work a lot on the listing end. And then we have like a marketing person in-house who we pay to help like get all the listings set up, all the marketing, different things like that. So for us personally, it's really having like different areas of specialty that we're able to focus 100% on. That kind of sets us apart beyond, the type of people that we are. We try to divide and conquer and spend, most of our time in that little section of real estate to really set us apart. So, and this building relationships, that's why, we've been blessed to be part of NIA and a lot of the other networking groups and things like that, is getting to know other people. There's so many good people here in the Treasure Valley that, working together and helping each other has really benefited us and helps our clients in turn, because the more people that know we have houses for sale or looking for houses or whatever it may be, the better for our clients. So.
Yeah, and then I'll end on this, and this part is it. Another thing's great about working with someone like you is, let's say we have someone coming from out of state, you're like, you have a whole team and you're like super connected. Is that you're like a great, not only are you great at a resource at having somebody, buy a home, but also there's a ton of stuff that comes with buying a home.
Yeah.
Do I know a lender? Maybe I need a moving company. I mean, on and on and on and on. That's another thing by being here, that you can help out these out-of-staters coming in here to kind of quickly hook them up with other like-minded good people.
Yeah, and I didn't even really mention that, but that's one of the things that we love about NIA and love about even knowing you, because you seem to know everyone in the Treasure Valley pretty much. So it helps us serve our clients better, because we have tradespeoples or remodelers or handymen or plumbers, electricians, landscapers, anything we need. If we don't know them personally, have worked with them, there's people out there like you who know all the good ones. So again, in turn, that just helps our clients get a high level of service, and you help us look good. So hey, we appreciate that.
Yeah, and I appreciate you. So hey, cool. We'll wrap this up, and I appreciate it. Hey, how would somebody get a hold of you? I'll put your contact info in the show notes underneath, but just what's the best way to get a hold of you if someone wants to talk to you?
Yeah, the best way, my number is 208-817-3006. You can also, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram. I'm not super active on either, but I have an assistant who, checks that stuff more often than I do. And it's the Real Estate Ranger. Maybe a story for another show, but I used to be a park ranger. So the Real Estate Ranger is the kind of handle on Instagram too.
Cool. Hey, well, thank you very much again. Appreciate it. And have a good day, everybody. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Scott.